How I'd get a job right now. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and in today's video I just want to take you through how I'd go about getting a job as a new starter right now using the knowledge that I've got. So first of all, we're going to go and have a look at this blog that I wrote a little while ago, and it pretty much sums up the best advice I've ever got about getting into the industry. It's pretty simple. It's go where the employers have no choice but to hire new starters and give them what they want. Now, in the current, the way the landscape is in the industry, there's a few places that employers have got no choice but to hire new starters. It's in hard rock underground, exploration, and some of the small mining towns are hiring surface people, surface truck drivers for pits. There's a little bit around Kalgoorlie, but yeah, it's pretty tight in the surface truck driving market at the moment. Unfortunately, one of the areas of the industry where employers have choice is iron ore, coal, big hard rock fly and fly out mines, shutdown and construction work. And the reason that they've got choice of surface truck drivers at the moment is that the iron ore mines over here in WA up north that are strip mines that can use the automation and go automated because their strip mines are doing it. And so there's a lot of people running around with a lot of experience that I think that they were thinking that they were coming down to Perth on a lot more money than they think that they were, into the call centres to run the trucks remotely. And from what I've heard, the pay hasn't been anywhere near as much as they thought it was going to be. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of them aren't doing it. A lot of them are trying to find other alternate truck driving jobs on the surface. And that's one of the reasons why it's hard to get a surface truck driving job at the moment as a new starter. So that's one of the areas that I probably wouldn't bother looking at the moment, and just till it settles down a bit more, I'd concentrate on these areas of the industry. So if we go on to Seek and we type underground in, you'll see all the jobs come up. There's lots of them around. And one of the big things that people think that they need to be able to do to impress the employer is to be able to drive the truck. Whereas with driving a hard rock underground truck, teaching somebody how to do that, it doesn't take very long. It takes a week, maybe two at the most. What people really struggle with is learning enough about how the mine works and everything that's going on around them so they can be left in the truck to get on with the driving the truck by themselves. That's where people really struggle, because to be left alone to get on with it by yourself, you have to know what's going on around you. You have to know what everybody does, and you have to know how it all works, because if you don't, then you're just not going to be safe. And the whole point of you coming onto crew is to drive the truck safely. So if you can't pick it up in quick enough, they're not backwards and coming forwards about tapping people on the shoulder. When I do the work ready package with people, I often tell them, don't be surprised if you start with 5 people and in the first week 2 people put up their hand and say, get me the hell out of here, this isn't this isn't what I thought it was. Then after a couple of weeks, don't be surprised if one person gets tapped on the shoulder and gets told to get the hell out of there because they're not doing it the way they're supposed to be doing it. And then after 3 to 4 months, it might be just you and another person left out of the original 5, or it may only be yourself. And that's one of the reasons why we encourage people to have a look at doing the sponsors training, the DIY training package. It's $450. It covers everything that the employer wants you to know, so it allows you to have a conversation with them in the interview, so you can hold a mining conversation. That's what impresses them. But the other thing that it does for you too is that at the moment we are in a real boom at the moment, so it is nuts, and it's one of the biggest booms that I've ever been in. So it's not uncommon that when you get sent out to site, because they're so thin on the ground with people, especially trainers, that the person training you in the truck has only sort of been trained 3 months ago themselves. That's not uncommon, and this training that's been written is designed to overcome that. So it shows you what your buddies should be showing you down the hole for the truck job, for the service crew job, for the nipper job. So it covers it all, what you should be shown. So if you do get somebody that can't communicate very well or doesn't want to communicate very well, then you've got all the tools to still make a go out of it. And we've had a lot of feedback from people that have been dropped in the hot seat, and they've been able to get up, keep going with it and get on with it because they knew all the information from the training. So that's the way I'd go if I was looking for a job at the moment. The sponsors also got this page that you can have a look at, mining jobs to apply for. They load up all the latest jobs to apply for, and you just click on it and it goes directly there and you can apply. So that's everything that we think that you should be applying for once you finish the training. I hope that information helps, and that's how I'd go about it if I was going to get a mining job today, knowing what I know. I'd steer clear of the surface. Truck driving jobs at the moment, there's not a lot around for new entry-level people, and the traineeships that are going, they don't pay very much. There's lots of stuff in exploration and underground. The only thing that you need to understand with underground and exploration, it's not a traineeship, it's entry level, so you need to find your feet as quickly as possible. They're pretty ruthless about it all, unfortunately, but it's like anything else. When you start off on $80,000 to $100,000 a year as the base, entry level wage, and it only goes up from there, and you've got the potential in 5 years' time, especially with underground, to be earning between $200,000 and $300,000. It's a very competitive thing, and if you can't keep up and you're going to fall behind, then they won't be backwards about tapping you on the shoulder. That's why it's really important to know as much about it as you can before you go. I think that's the biggest secret to it. If you can take out of the equation all the mining knowledge that you've got to learn when you first get there, if you can use the sponsors training to do that already, so when you go you already know what a refuge chamber is and escape ways and self-rescuers and stench gas and cable bolts and split set bolts and all that sort of stuff. If you already know what all that is, that gives you a huge advantage over everybody else, because it allows you to talk to them in the interview about mining, address what you're going to be doing on site, but it also, when you get to site, it gives you all the tools to make a go of it, and that's the big thing. It allows you to sit in the truck and just learn how to drive the truck and not worry about everything else. Whereas people that go in green, not knowing anything on day one, they not only have to learn how to drive the truck, they get bombarded with everything else that's in the training. So they have to learn all that all at once, and you can quickly see how they have a significant turnover, unfortunately. So I hope that information helps, and if you've got any more questions, please send them through, and if you could like and subscribe the channel. Thanks.